26th day of January of the year, or can you believe it, already 2026. This is our very first show for the year. We actually now have a calendar of shows, and I will eventually tell you. I know that next month is going to be the 9th of February. So think of the 9th of February for our next show, here on the big station Q95. I'm thankful that you're listening. Tonight we have a fascinating topic. Tonight we're asking the question: does it make sense to do prison ministry? Does it make sense to do prison ministry? So as you start to listen, I want you to get your minds calibrated to discuss this topic. Does it make sense to do prison ministry? So as we'll go on, we do not have our host, Patrice KB St. Jean. She's not able to join us tonight because of prior obligations. So we will do our little introduction. In terms of just introducing the show, I will play a little bit of accordion. Our featured artist tonight, we are featuring Rasmo again tonight. Going through the music of Rasmo. We are so thankful that Rasmo was such a good collaborator with us, and after his passing, we can celebrate his music. As you know, we feature one artist every show, and we will do another next month when we meet here again on February 9th. But we are very, very thankful. Pastor Douglas, I have not done this before, but I know you're a man who is ready. So I'm going to ask us, if you don't mind, to open us up with a prayer. I actually have never done that on the show. I've never done that on the show, but I know at City Point, the brothers are always ready to go. And I know the Chicago pastors are always ready to say a prayer, even if they don't know the context very much about what it is that they asked to pray for. I know with 3 seconds, Chicago pastors are ready to pray. So you ready to open us up with the prayer, Pastor?
Thank you for the heavyweight. Yeah, we're ready to go. We're always ready to go.
Go for it.
Dressed and warm. Father in heaven, we thank you, give you praise and glory right now in the moment, because it is in your time span that we have been graced and mercy has been poured upon us. I pray now, Father, for your hand of knowledge, wisdom, and understanding to be outpoured upon this broadcast. I pray, Father, for every ear that will hear, that you, Lord God, would speak, and that we as listeners may receive what the word of God has to say about making sense to do prison ministry. Thank you, and we give you praise before and not needing to see it done in order to believe it done. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, man. You passed the test. I gotta tell Pastor Davis, man, you rocked it. I know you'd be ready for it. That's how it goes down to the shy, man. The minister pastors are always ready to go. Tell our listeners, Pastor Douglas, and I warned you that people are going to ask you if you're from Dominica, because Douglas is a popular name in Dominica. But just for a brief introduction, just tell. I just see Pastor Joseph Benjamin is here. I feel so happy to see that. So tell our listeners a little bit about you, just a little bit about yourself. You'll tell them some more later about what you do. Just tell them a little bit about who you are.
Well, yeah. Thank you for asking. I'm appreciative that you, when we met yesterday, you invited me to come on tonight to listen and to glean a little bit. Like you said, my name is Pastor Donald Douglas. I normally don't go by pastor, but that's what they call me at church when I'm at work. But I've been a part of City Point Community Church now for 17 years. We've been a nomad type of ministry, so to speak, moving here and there throughout the Chicago land area. We finally set roots and purchased a plot of land, so to speak, and now we have our own building that we're ministering from. I've been over outreach ministries at City Point now for over that duration of time. We've been involved with outreach ministry as far as the incarcerated, those who are homeless, those who are naked. We've clothed and had pantries for food set up in those particular periods of times. This year, we're now in our own building, as I said, and we are establishing this is the first time we're establishing a presence in our local jail system in CCDOC through City Point Community Church. And we're in the process now collecting volunteers, getting them trained up and reared up to get out and get into the buildings and go out and visit these men and women who have been incarcerated now for years that are standing in need of hope. And we've been now visiting CCDOC in this area now for approximately 4 years. I've been going in myself, but this will be the first year that we're going in under a church banner of City Point Community Church. We're led by our senior pastor, Demetrius Davis, and we're located at 4338 South Prairie Avenue, Chicago, Illinois. Come by and visit us anytime.
Yes, thank you so much. And I know you're doing this for with the City Point Covenant Church first time, but you will talk about the experience that you have had as even before that, bringing that experience into the ministry. I see Pastor Joseph Benjamin was on with us. He's probably having a little bit of a technical problem getting in. He kind of disappeared. So as soon as he comes back on, we will be able to get him in. And Pastor Douglas, I know you have to leave and be elsewhere at 7 o'clock Chicago time, which is 9 o'clock the local time. Actually, they're 2 hours ahead. The people in the studio here are 2 hours ahead of us in Dominica. So when I would have to remember if I say the time to be saying it and translating it in Chicago time, Central time, and Eastern Caribbean time over there. This is an international show. People from around the world listen to the big station. We go across different time zones, and I'm pretty sure I can feel already, Pastor Douglas, that this is not the first time you're going to be with us. Hopefully, you can visit Dominica sometime and see us there on the ground. And we have the other guest that is there with us that's already live patiently. Ninka, she's gonna turn on her microphone and introduce herself. Actually, on the 5th of January, she was on another radio station, Kyrie FM, with me, and she may join in with us because we know that when we talk about things, we want to have different points of view. So, Ninka, good evening. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, I'm Ninka Luis from Granby. I'm an electrician. I do electricals, I do plumbing, I do AC. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for introducing yourself briefly. Later on, we'll come on, especially you don't necessarily have to follow up with Pastor Benjamin Stuck, but he will. You have an affiliation with him. His ministry involves supporting people like yourself. So what I want you, the role that you will involve, an important role to play with us, Ninka, as you hear Pastor Benjamin talk about his experience doing prison ministry and whether he believes that ministering to people in prison or helping people in prison to build their lives, spending time to do that is worth it or not, because some people believe it's not, that people did the crime, they did the time, so they just, let them rot. Some people have that point of view. So, whatever you are contributing with your own life, with your own experience, you will be right there with us. Thank you so much for joining us tonight for this discussion as we go ahead. And we will continue to wait for Pastor, Joseph Benjamin to be able to join us. And we are also expecting, the Reverend Deep from the Hindustanic Covenant Church in India to join us on this topic. Well, around this time in our show, and can you believe it that we have already consumed? Can you imagine we have already consumed 14 minutes? Pastor Douglas, if my daughter, who's the co-host, was here with me tonight, I can play around because she's not there. She would have told me I should have had a commercial break already. That should I should have taken a musical break already or something like that. So we're gonna kick it a little bit different because Patricia's not here to kind of keep us in order. But I'll try to do my best to follow her in. Hey, Lambi, good evening. How are you, man? Thanks, brother, for Lambi is in the studio here. Everybody, remember we're also live on Facebook. The Q95 FM on Facebook. We are live also on Facebook, and the radio link, for those of you who are on there with us that want to share, Pastor Douglas, if you want to share the link, you already have that link that you can give people to see us on Facebook or to be able to listen live right on the radio station, big station Q95. And soon I'll be giving out the numbers, and in fact, maybe Lambi can do that with me because the first time when Lambi mentioned the numbers that we have to call in, then I'll write it down and I will be able to say for the other times where I don't have it right here in front of me. One of the things we do, Pastor Douglas, you know what that is? What's that? What do you call that in Chicago? That thing in my hand. Your mic is off. You got to turn it on. Tell us, what do you call it?
Is that a harpsichord or a maxichord or?
There we go. It's called an accordion.
Accordion, yes.
It's called an accordion. There was a brother, man, that he looks a little bit like you, right? And he was running a marathon, man. And I was out there playing the accordion to encourage people running the marathon. And this brother was one of the last ones running that marathon, man. And he stopped and he said to me, I think now I could roll over and die. I'm seeing a black man playing an accordion. And I said, brother, you should be careful when you say that, man. You look like you're pretty tired. You know what I'm saying? But so in Peacealogy, the science and practice of low stress and high joy is embedded in, it's a part of social science, clinical mental health counseling, business science, faith, and so on. And for me, as a therapist, it's very important to remind us that we have two major things as human beings. One thing is memory, and the other is imagination. Memory is a good thing because it can allow us to go back and think about things that have happened. Imagination is great because it can allow us to kind of teleport into things that have not yet even happened. But the bad thing about memory is that it can take us back to a spot where it could be very difficult for us to get out of. And it can cause us to be depressed over the things that have occurred in the past. One of the bad things about imagination, it can cause us anxiety, or it can lead us into anxiety because we can be overly worried about the things that have not yet even happened. That is why in therapy, we focus on existentialism, and we talk about mindfulness to bring people to the present. Because you cannot change the past and you cannot change the future, but you can enjoy this moment. So with Peacealogy being the science and practice of low stress and high joy, one of the first things we need to be able to do to have high joy is to center ourselves, to bring ourselves to the moment. So one of the things that I do on every show that I'm able to do it, sometimes I forget the accordion and I play the harmonica, that I play a tune, I composed a tune entitled Know the Story of Our Peace. And Pastor Douglas, we haven't said that, but I wrote a book called Pockets of Crime that was actually set in Bit 213, which is just a little bit north of the area where the church is. Actually, the boundaries are Persian Road to 43rd Street from Calumet to Cottage Grove, right? Very close to where the church, where City Point is, right. And while doing the research there, while doing the work here, doing a lot of work with the LSDs, the Lords, the Stones, and the Disciples, and all the people in Chicago, I really got to learn about the importance of being able to capture the moment, because there could be so many surprises we get. Similarly, with my work in Buffalo and the like. So I'm going to play a tune that is entitled Know the Story of Our Peace, because we know a lot about the story of violence on the south side of Chicago, where your church is. And we know a lot of violence in other parts of the city. We know a lot of about violence almost anywhere. But very little do we know the story of our peace. And if we really had to compare the presence of violence and the presence of peace, there's a lot more peace than violence. But sometimes the tail is wagging the dog. Sometimes the exception seems like the overwhelming reality. So as I play this accordion, Know the Story of Our Peace, I'm going to ask you to just listen to the tune. The tune may change a little bit. Just focus on the accordion for a moment. And then when we are done, we are going to go straight into a song. Lambi is going to give us a surprise in the studio, and he's going to tune up. He's going to cue up a song for Rasmo. And whatever Rasmo he gives us, we're going to take it. So I'm going to be playing it here in C, in the cut of C. I just noticed there's a little imperfection in my accordion. I have to do a little repair to it. But nonetheless, I think it's gonna do us good. I'm actually gonna stand up for this a little bit so we can hear it project a little bit. Well, Lambi, you probably said thank you, thanks for your cheers. Lambi, you're probably saying you never heard me play the song the same way. It seems every time I want to add a little something to it, and this is one of the great things, about playing music when you are illiterate in music, right? Because I'm not following shit music. I can play it the same way every time, really, but I'm like, why? Why do I have to play it the same way every time? So sometimes I bring in the bass a little bit earlier. Sometimes I bring in the bass a little later. Sometimes I play it a little bit longer. But I figure out, since I don't know how to read music and I'm not formally a musician, I'm free to do as I wish. How's that sound to you, Pastor Douglas?
Hey, that sounds wonderful, man. Music is a universal language. Yes. It is like speaking. It is like Acts 2 when Peter preached, and every recipient heard the wonderful word of God.
So, have you ever been in an occasion? I know we're not live together here, where you see the accordion being played live. We're not in the same room. Have you been in an occasion like this before?
Well, yes, I've gone to many occasions where instruments have been played. Music, like I said, music is the instrument of many languages.
Yeah, I'm not talking about when music has been played. I'm talking about when an accordion was played. It's a specific question.
Oh, absolutely, an accordion as well. And
okay, nice. Okay, I got you. As part of it. Well, thanks. In Dominica, people wonder. Somebody asked me what's the connection. In Dominica, well, the accordion, there's something we call jingping. And for independence, we have. There's an accordion, there's a taboo, there's a boom boom, there's a gouache, and it's a traditional way, traditional music that's used for, but we can improvise, use it in bouillon and other types of music. So thanks for sharing our culture with us. Lambi, let us have something from Rasmo. When we come back from the break, we'll remind our listeners of how they can call in and what numbers they can use to call. and we will see a little shout out to some sponsors, and then get in the depth of some conversation. We'll introduce you to some music from Rasmo right here on the big station. 295.
I'm going to ask God. This is what I find out here. I will bring a gift for you. I will bring a gift for you. I will bring a talking rock. I will bring a tune rock. I will bring a tune rock. I will bring a Starbucks rock. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I will bring a drum for you. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I will bring a drum for you.
Yeah, Pastor, are you able? Are you having a lot of trouble? You were on there for a brief moment. I said you were in the studio for a brief moment, and then you came off. Are you back in? No, you were there. I mentioned you. Okay, no, get back in because I saw you and I saw you. Well, I said welcome, and then I didn't hear you. Maybe I don't know why you didn't hear us, but the linker is in there. The pastor is there having a music break. We need you back in so I can introduce you. Because the way you did it last time when you were there, it worked because I saw you there, and then you just have to unmute yourself. Yeah. Did you see us when you were in there the last time? All right, I'm gonna get off the phone so you can do it, okay? Okay. I will look for you and then try it again and then
For you, for you, for you, for you, for you. I will bring a drum for you. For you, for you, for you, for you, for you.
For you, I play this drum for you. It's actually Pastor Douglas, the gentleman who sings that song. He passed away recently, and he was, Rasmo Moses is what his name was, and he and I actually first cousins, the children of brother and sister. And that song, that album, his last album was called Bel Kado, means a beautiful gift. So basically in that song, he's saying he visited Africa and he brought back a drum for you, and that's the gift. He brought back a beautiful drum for you. So that is also our theme song, that we use in the bed for our studio. And thanks, Lambi, for playing. We'll hear maybe a couple more songs from Rasmo During the break, I was able to reach Pastor Benjamin. And Pastor Benjamin, another thing that we didn't do, I don't know if it's possible for you. I'm going to give the radio, give the call, the numbers, and maybe you can call into the studio and join us via well, I know he probably is not listening anyway, but that's a Linka. Can you please text Pastor Benjamin and tell him that he can call in the studio. I'm going to give the number because I think the overseas number can be used, and it could be used maybe as a WhatsApp number, but maybe he can join us. Or maybe Lambi, we can call him on his phone number, and that's another way, Lambi. We can also call him and from the station and have him join the show. But Lambi, can you please announce the numbers so our listeners can be reminded of how they could call in?
This is Peacealogy State. The numbers to contact us are as follow: 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257. Those are all local numbers. The overseas or international number comes up now: 305-432-9624. Let me run those numbers one more time: 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097, 616-4257, and 305-432-9624. Back to you, Doc.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Lambi, for reminding people of the numbers that they can call to speak with us live. And our etiquette is anytime somebody calls in, as much as possible, we kind of hear what they have to say because it helps to enrich what we do. Before we get deeper into asking, some questions or continuing on this discussion and asking Pastor Douglas to give us a sense of whether he believes it's worth it to do prison ministry and yes or no, and how that relates to his experience, I want to thank our sponsors, right? And the sponsorship here works in a way that we give shout out to people who help us out. But I am still giving gratitude to an event that we had on the 20th of December of 2025. We call the Peacealogy Kudme. And we asked sponsors to help us purchase some items to repair the home of a young man they call Shaba Dennis Anthony, and we ended up doing some repairs at a shop, Mr. Selwyn's shop in Trafalgar, and then we ended up there's a wall close to Mr. Selwyn's shop, close to Merle's M&G's, and nurse Clarice Bedno Moranci. We power washed and painted her walls, and we also did Miss Uni Saint Jean in Trafalgar. We did some work on that wall, and we also were able to actually provide some paint for another senior citizen YM, for the painting of his home. So we stretched what we got, and I just want to thank again. Maybe they think that their gratitude is over because it's a new year, but I really want to thank the following sponsors who just stood out and decided that they were going to join us and to help us in what we were doing. Le Petit Paradis, which this means a small paradise in the village of Wharton-Waven. Algie and Joan run a wonderful business over there. They're very well frequented, great food, great people, great atmosphere, stepped up and helped us out. Anthony Saint Jean, who happens to be my only biological brother, Anthony Newton Saint Jean, resides in New Jersey. Christabel Jean Baptiste, who is a tourism professional, but also a real estate professional. Edgar George in Trafalgar, Papiat, Wilderness Retreat, Brunch and Munch, Sandrine, Francis, and the folks up there at Munch and Brunch. Just beautiful, tasty, delicious food. Peacealogy Acres, company that I own. Also, strictly ITALs. That is, if you go to the village of Wharton Waven and you go up by Ticoneglo Show, you just pass to the left side, you will find Tabitha and others here who will, well, she is the main one that is there, but they just provide some great, strictly ITALs just means kind of vegetarian or vegetables. And there's some great food there. So anytime in Wharton Waven, so great fruit, good juices, strictly ITALs to support that local business there who supported our Kudme. And back to Eden Tropical Escape. Rachel Russell, who is actually she's from Wharton Waven, and she has an Airbnb where the home that used to belong to Jeffrey, right there close to Moffat's area there in Wharton Waven. And she decided to step up and to help us out so we can buy the material to do this work. And there are also two other anonymous people, right? Two other anonymous people who we can't say who they are, but who stepped up as well. Well, we said it. We have a caller. Caller, thank you for calling Peacealogy State. Thank you so much.
And Mr. Douglas and Lambert from Marigot. He's a tour guide. He's a bird watcher. Lambert from Marigot. Are you there with me, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What you said about Lambert from Marigot?
He's a tour guide, a bird watching and horse trail venture.
Okay. What about him?
He worked with one of the top tour operators on the island, Mr. Ken Tours. These people bring people from all over the world and get married at the waterfall at Tea Paradis or by your area there. Celebrities, so he have a knowledge of what you're saying, and I want to enforce of what you're saying in tourism.
Thank you. So you're just giving a shout out to him and thanking him for his work.
Yes,
and giving
yes.
Oh, well, I will welcome this cause. And the small businesses, man, they run the world. So just thanks for giving him a shout out. If there's anybody else who just wants to call the show and give a free shout out, business shout out to people that you see that do good work, that promote Peaceful Nature Isle, that promote peace in our country, in our world, and entrepreneurs that support tourism, that support good business. Thanks, brother, for doing that. We really appreciate you using the space to do that. Thanks so much for calling.
Yeah, because I support you. I'm from Marigot and I do some work in tourism up there, even before a lot of people didn't want to do it.
Okay.
I had a little spot just after the Debois Bridge coming down on the left side there.
Yes.
It was a site, a waterfall. It had a pool at the top and a cascading. So I do some development there, but then it was discouraging when I go up to the authorities because I invest some of my money there. I bring excavator, dumpers, and just before Concord, it's called Fishery Waterfall. It was a nice location in the rainforest.
Okay.
And at the time, I didn't realize our system was so tough to get across. Like I wanted it to be on the tourism map. I tried to get to discover Dominica. It was too much of Tangalanga, and I'm not the patient, and I was in farming, and I find those things. It's too much to go through it. I getting out of patience. When you have to work for 7 months, 9 months, and you don't get in a return, you can't keep pouring money. So I know what you're talking about, and I want to congratulate you because I know the work screws and those guys do up there in the water weaving, and this is a brand of Dominica.
Yes.
You can imagine for the independent who for the carnival, everybody in water weaving decide to strike, close down the doors. You know the impact it would cause.
Yes, it's a good point.
1 or 2 times. I think schools do it 1 or 2 times. Some cricket, international cricket, and he closed down, and it was a very big embarrassment for even the bus drivers. They couldn't make money. So I know the importance of what you're saying. So that's why I support you. And I'm in small business. I do manufacturing. I think I told you that already.
Right.
I want to support you. And what I believe the government have to do is to listen to people like you, to help them to help the young people on the block. For instance, you see like the Minister for Rules, so I think you should have a good meeting with her and give her a road map into doing some things for the young people between Fly City and Rosewell, especially the young guys. even involving tourism, because you're having like 5,000-6,000 people on island for a day, cruise people. You're having 2 ships, sometimes 3 ships, and the volume of the ships sometimes is 3,000-4,000 people. So as a youth development officer like you, Mr. Cesar, you should have a roadmap to help the minister sit with her, give her ideas how to get the young people involved. Even right on the block where the guys sitting on the block, how they call their stone woods. Right there, you can get them to become small business people. Even right on the roadside there, you come with some like a compact caravan and you could get them because they want to do business, because the product they're selling on the block is not even selling, nothing not selling, nothing. So you can help us, I believe, and I believe you're the right person because I know where you're going and I've seen your work, even up in the Fly City.
Silver Lake, not Fly City, Silver Lake. Right.
Silver Lake. You see like how they set up those little bars by the bayfront, by the bridge, or by the riverside?
Yes.
Set that up around Fly City there. It have a piece of land.
Silver Lake, not Fly City, Silver Lake. Remember that.
Silver Lake, sorry. So you see right there, that piece of land above there, you acquire it, the government, and you set up those little shops with entertainment because the tourists come here for entertainment. Even on a Sunday, Roseau does the dread. You can have church service in Roseau because the visitors come for that and the culture. They come for the culture. Even the church open on a Sunday. The visitors that come from the cruise ship, they want to go to church. They want to go into the gardens and have entertainment. Mr. Auden Bully had plans for the gardens, but they don't take on those things. That's what I find.
My brother, thank you so much. You have so many great ideas. We have to cut off in a minute, but I just wanted to give you the time so you could express yourself. You have such great ideas. I hope we continue to be in dialogue and you continue to work with us.
That's what I push in, is Dominica product I push in, when I send my products, the furthest place I send my products is in Saudi Arabia, for the Muslim, the guys use it to oil their beards. But nice. I want you to continue. I want to give your show a break. Have a good night.
Good night. What's your name, by the way, brother? You tell us him in your mind?
Ronnie. I tell you that already, Ronnie.
Well, you may have told me, but I did not hear. So I ask again. You just tell me again. You don't have to tell me. You told me that already. All right, brother. Thank you so much for calling, man. I really appreciate it, Ronnie.
Sorry about that.
No problem, Ronnie. Have a good night. Thank you so much. Pastor Douglas, that's the beauty of our show, and beauty of what we do. Give people a flat platform to tell the things that they're thinking. I know that you have to leave soon, so I want to kind of get to you, and then we can talk about some other things and take some more calls. So tell us about your experience with youth ministry, maybe the youth ministry too, but your motivation to become a pastor, but also the motivation that you had to the question we have. Is it worth the time to do prison ministry? Yes or no, and why you say that?
Great question. Emphatically, yes. Does it make sense to do prison ministry? Yes. The why is enormous. Just to condense the answer, it's to give value back. Value is something that I have learned over the past few years of ministering in our criminal justice system, through our criminal justice system and our Department of Corrections system. The system is designed to devalue human beings and to place them into a pocket or a set that they can utilize them when necessary. As we go into and as we enter into these institutions, and I've talked to both men and women in these institutions, the number one common denominator is lack of value. Whether that they've been devalued externally or whether they devalued themselves internally. And without prison ministries, without any other source feeding them, supplying them, and pouring back into them what true value is, and that they do still contain value, even though they have made mistakes, we'll have another lost generation, so to speak. It is vital, not only based on a human scale, that we continue to do prison ministry and the importance of prison ministry, but even biblically, it has been a mandate that we do prison ministry. It is imperative, I believe, that based on the words of Christ, that we need to go visit people that are in jail, that are imprisoned.
So, Pastor Douglas, thank you, and I'm hearing from what you have said. It is important to do prison ministry because there is a lack of value that people who are incarcerated feel about themselves, and one of the ways that you can bring hope and life and value to them is to help them. You didn't say it in those words. Remember who they are, kind of whose they are, and to know that they are born on value. The Creator had value to them, and you believe that just building up that lack of value could have a lot of effects. Did I understand you correctly?
Absolutely, and you just preached my sermon, brother.
Tell us, and Ninka, as you're listening, I'm going to ask you, but I won't ask you why Pastor Douglas is here, even if I want him to hear what you have to say, but because he has to leave soon. So Ninka, I want you to tell us, and Ninka is not unapologetic about the fact that she has spent some time in jail. She has seen some things on the inside, and part of why she's here with us tonight is that she's going to give a perspective to say, well, are some of the things you're saying kind of true? So Ninka, I want you to think about that one week, because after Pastor Douglas, we'll have a little more time to talk about that. But Pastor Douglas, can you give us some examples of what brought you to conclusion? So, Bree, you don't have to call any names if you don't want to, whatever, but Ed, can you give us the circumstances of conversations you had with people where you saw a lack of value, and how was your ministry able to help them find value in themselves?
Oh, sure. Well, while visiting, for example, the men's division here in Chicago, interviewing individuals where they've said to themselves that they're sorry, but they don't know if they've been forgiven.
That they're what?
Yeah, the burden, that's a burden that they're carrying. The lack of believing they are forgiven. The institution tells them that being institutionalized for XYZ amount of time is supposed to change them. And unfortunately, if there is not a third party or some other entity stepping in to give value to that stay while they are there, that change or that manifestation of rehabilitation never takes place. There is a gap, and they are struggling to understand how to connect the dots. And so, that's where, go ahead.
So if somebody's there, but there are a lot of people who are in prison or jail who say they are there for things they didn't do.
True.
So how does forgiveness relate to them if they think they're there for things they didn't do? For that population?
That's a good question. Everybody's innocent that we speak to on every occasion. But what we try to do is to acknowledge that we are all sinners and we all fall short of the glory of God. And that even though we do sin, and even though we do fall, and even though we do make mistakes, that there is hope. There's always hope. And whether or not we feel that we're innocent or guilty or not, we are all guilty. And what we have to do is come to that understanding and acceptance that we've all fallen short.
You know, Pastor Douglas, to your point, one of the things that people have told me when I do ministry or when I visit or do programs in the prison is that I am here probably for something I didn't do, but I did so many things that I didn't get caught for. Maybe I'm here paying for the things that I didn't get caught for because I really did them. You know, I mean, have you heard that yourself?
Absolutely. And I think that is that statement, when a person comes to make that realization, I think that they're coming to grips with this internal piece of value. Because now we're looking at guilt from a different perspective. This is an internal thing that I'm internalizing within myself, that maybe I didn't get caught for that, but I did something that landed me in this position. And
Yes.
so
And what I'm hearing you saying is, whether they did it or not, that thought process relates to not having value. Because whether it's not value because of something you got caught or something you didn't get caught, somehow or the other, it still diminishes their value, even if they believe that they were wrongfully accused. I said I was not going to do this, but I'm going to get back on my own word, because you did so well in short time. I think you would like to hear what Ninka has to say, because Ninka herself has been on the inside. Ninka, what do you think about what Pastor Douglas is saying? He's saying that it's important to do prison ministry because a lot of people in prison have a lack of value, because they feel that kind of they have not gotten, or they may not get forgiveness for the things that they have done. Does that make sense to you, or do you have another perspective on this?
Yeah, man, because sometimes your past does come back on you, because the things you do long time, it always coming back. People always judging you, like they even if you change, they wouldn't see you for who you are, but they will see you for who you were. You check, and they will, they'll talk about the person you were before, and they will not talk about the change you have made in your life.
So I know. So what you did, it may be you, your own self, or somebody else while you were incarcerated. Do you? By the way, what we said, that a lot of people, some people get incarcerated because they think that they're in jail for something they didn't do, like they were innocent this time. Is that true, or everybody that's in prison basically are guilty for what they did?
Well, sometimes we have innocent people on remand for how many years, You're not guilty unless you're proven guilty. You're not guilty unless proven,
Right.
So, to me, everybody that on remand, they're innocent until they're proven guilty.
Okay, that makes sense. And do you find that they are treated in prison like they are innocent until proven guilty, or they are treated like convicted people?
Yeah, they treat you like you was person, like they're judging you. They're judging you up there. They're judging you like they don't know if you really do the crime or not. But seeing that you're there for the charge, they'll treat you like you really do it for true.
So Ninka, let's build on what Pastor Douglas said, that people in prison, unless in jail, whether you're on remand, because on remand means that your case has not called, or you are convicted, if he's saying that your value has diminished, your value goes down once you are incarcerated, once you're behind those doors, and even if you did it or didn't do it, do you think that has an impact on the people who are on remand, or only on the impact of the people who actually are convicted in terms of not feeling value for themselves? What do you think?
I don't really understand that question,
Okay, what I'm asking is, if you think, first of all, you said you agree that sometimes people feel one day in prison as if they don't have value, it makes themselves have less value. So I'm asking if it's only the people who are convicted that may feel they have less value, or does that also relate to the people on remand as well, that feel that they don't have value?
Oh, well, it's the way you're getting treated that making you feel like that,
So
yeah,
go ahead.
Because most times the convicted people getting more privileges, and they're getting more free up than remand people. They're getting more opportunity. They're getting to go classes. They're getting to do things. They're getting to cook. They're getting to go in the yard, pull up in the yard for the day, and remand don't have all them thing there.
Wow. So that could probably even frustrate you more, because if you have not even known what your outcome is, and you don't even have a hope to build yourself, that sounds like it could be even more frustrating. Does that make sense?
Yeah, man, that will always frustrate you more. You don't know when you're going, So you just they're waiting for a day to come for you to go. You don't know when you go in. But when you're convicted, you have a date. You know when to expect to go.
So, Pastor Douglas, I know you have to leave us in a couple of minutes, but what are your thoughts about what Ninka has said?
That's powerful. When we look at it from that perspective, it is very, very easily done when the populations are segregated like that. You have issues with people that are waiting for a case to come up versus the individuals that have already had their cases heard, and there is this segregation within the population sometimes that causes this divisiveness. But nevertheless, both cases, whether you are convicted or not, or you are standing in limbo and waiting to be remanded to a case from a case, there is still an atmosphere in that place where hopelessness and value is not a premium. And it has to be brought in and expounded upon, I do believe, through outreach. Without outreach, I do believe that the populations will be in positions where value, once they either are cycled in or cycled out, that value will help the person that's in those positions more so.
Wow. Thank you so much for adding this. I want to be respectful of your time. I know you have to join a next meeting in about 3 minutes. Do you want to leave any parting words for our listeners before you leave?
This issue that's on my heart, that's always been, and this is our mantra in going into the prisons to visit men and women. It comes from Matthew chapter 25, verse 35. It says, "For I was hungry and you gave me something to eat, and I was thirsty and you gave me something to drink. I was a stranger and you invited me in." And it is important to know that Jesus feels that it is important for us not only to feed those who are hungry, not only to clothe those who are naked, not only to visit those who are sick, but also to visit those who are in prison.
Yes, thank you so much. That this is a mandate. This is a mandate from the Almighty in that way. Well, Pastor Douglas, thank you so much. And representing City Point Community Church, I will hopefully that won't be the last time you'll join us. Hopefully next time, either on another radio station we have a show. Hopefully we can have you join us. Thank you so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. God bless.
Yes. Lambi, let's give us another song from Rasmo, and we'll also try to see if we can get Pastor Benjamin to join us. Ninka, thank you for hanging in there with us still. Just give us a surprise song for Rasmo as we continue here on Peacealogy State today, Monday, the 26th, the last Monday in the month of January of 2026, here on the big station, Q95 Radio. We're going to listen to another song from our brother,
the big station, Q95.
Yes, folks, you listen to Peacealogy State here on the big station. It's the 26th of January of the year 2026. 26 of 26, lucky numbers for those of you who believe in them. And we are thankful that we are discussing the question of whether or not it is worth it to spend time in prison ministry. Let's take a break and listen to Rasmo.
Oui, voisin, kabat maramli. No maye constant gently. That's the lavi modern. So the kabat maliwe, we had a theater and yoga. Kani problemi, kani problemi, kani problemi, kani problemi, sa yo kasi. Kani problemi, kani problemi, kani problemi, kani problemi.
I don't know. Is it do we lose the music? Well, it seems that we have a little glitch here with the music in the studio, but we're ready to go. So Ninka, what are some of the things that stood out for you when you hear what the pastor had to say? What do you think about how you make sense of what he had to say? What Pastor Douglas said?
Like on what on which like
Anything about anything he said? What are some of the things that stand out in your mind about what you think or probably the most valuable thing you think he said to you, or what stands out in your mind from what he said?
well, I didn't really pick up everything he said. My internet was kind of dropping.
Okay, so your internet was kind of going in. Well, let's just take a point by point. We said that he said that the value that people have about themselves become worse in prison. You already answered that. You already told us that the value that you have it relates to whether you are on remand or whether you are convicted. And you said also that people who are convicted seem to get more opportunities to build themselves than people who are on remand, right? He said
Yeah,
some of the
because
money.
when you're on remand, you want to be convicted because of the way the convicted are getting treated, are being treated. You want to be convicted too because it's like you don't know when your date coming as a remand person. But as a convict person, they know their date, so it's like it pushing you to go to plead guilty and be a convicted person.
You kind of want to get that over with, and just because is that because you might believe that the person might believe that may not win the case? Why would they instead of thinking that best I just get that over with and become convicted so I can go serve my time? Why would the mindset not be, well, why don't I get my case so I could beat the case? Why do you think that might be the mindset?
Because sometimes they're taking so long to call the cases. It's like you can stay the amount of years they might give you for the case. As you're guilty, you might stay all that years on remand waiting for the case to call.
You know people that happened to?
But there are people that happen to. There are people that take how much years jail, how much years for murder or kind of thing. And when you watch, they didn't have a case. They had to kill the case. They had to let them go. And they stay
So
on remand for how long?
how do these people behave after that?
Well, I never really veil them. I never really watch them to say monitor them to see how they behaving. I never.
Well,
But I'm
have you
sure.
spoken to any of them that told you anything that that
I
makes
heard
sense?
one talk and it's like he taking it lighter. It's like he just checking like he was innocent and one day God will make him be free. You check?
So we're asking this question, Linker, about whether prison ministry is important. And I know that tell us a little bit about with I don't know if you met Pastor Benjamin when you were inside, when you're in Stock Farm, or if you met him afterwards. Tell us about, whether you believe that the work, as a person who has received the work, the relationship with the church, is that, what do you understand the work that his church is trying to do, and is it important work?
Well, I understand the work that the church is trying to do is the work the government not doing. Or maybe some people let's say the government cannot help everybody I know, you check? But there are some people the government not seeing and they're not helping them. So the church now taking over. They're doing what the government not doing.
Like what
Helping,
specifically? Like
like
what?
helping poor people, helping homeless people.
And like what kind of help? For example, if you don't mind telling us, what kind of help has the church given to you?
Let's say if you haven't got a home, they will try their best to put you somewhere to sleep, to stay. They will pay somewhere for you to rest until they'll try and get a job for you until you can be able to pay your rent and them things. Yeah, they're helping people. They're helping homeless people and people that cannot help themselves. You check?
Hmm. And
Yeah.
the pastor was saying that that is part of the work that we need to do, the church, pastors, but the church or good people should do as people created by God. Do you believe that?
Hmm?
The pastor said that this is the Bible says that this is what we should be doing, or we should just be doing that because we are good human beings. Do you believe that that's the case, or we should be doing this for some other reason,
We should
helping
be
people?
doing it because that is what we love to do. We
Mm,
enjoy doing it. That is why we should be doing it.
yeah. So if you were to give some advice to government people who may be listening now or listening later on to the show about, you said that the churches are doing and stepping in to do what government is not doing. The somebody from the government could be listening and say, well, the church is not stepping in to do what the government is not doing. The church is stepping in to do what it should be doing, because government should not be the only one to help people in who are in jail. Would you agree if if a government minister said that? Would you agree with that? You think the church has a responsibility and it's not doing what government is not doing? It is doing what the church should be doing, because the church should be doing that. Would you agree with that or not? Are you there? I don't know if we lost her, if a call got
Well,
dropped. Oh,
it's who,
you there?
like,
You there?
it's who that have more money, and who that can do more, It's who that can do, and who that have, it's who that have.
Okay.
So you think the church can compare to what Scary can do?
Mm,
Huh? Or the government can do?
okay.
You think the church can compare to that? The church can do what they can do. They're trying their best. They're trying their best, but they're struggling just like us.
Hmm. Hmm.
They're
So
struggling
because
just
you,
like they themselves need help and they're helping people.
mm,
Is that I try and show you they need help too, and they're helping people.
hmm, but you're thinking that the government has more resources or have more access to resources, so they should be doing even more. Is that the point?
Yes, that's what I think. I think the government should be helping. There are a lot of poor people outside there. The government not seeing. It's like everybody saying you go to this prime minister, go to the prime minister, but it's not easy to see the prime minister. First of all, is the same set of people are seeing the prime minister over and over again. If it's a new face, it's hard for you to see the prime minister. It's not easy to go and see the prime minister. I don't say the prime minister don't want to help,
Hmm.
but he doesn't see everything, he doesn't hear everything. You
Hmm.
check?
Hmm.
Let's say I go and I bring an invoice, financial center. Somebody that don't like me can just take it and throw it in the garbage bin. And I think it was the prime minister and he don't do nothing about it. By the time the prime minister don't know nothing about that, he never get no letter, he don't get no invoice, nothing. And like they're blaming the prime minister, saying the prime minister greedy and the prime minister this and that. By the time it's not the prime minister, nah, it's somebody inside there that throw my letter, that throw my invoice. And I think it is the prime minister. And for the prime minister, they're getting blamed for them people nonsense.
There's a calypso called "Gatekeeper" that explains that. Say, have you heard that calypso? That song for this year? Have you heard that song?
No.
Okay, I'll send it to you, because I thought it's actually the song that you're hearing and you're saying that, but it seems that the reality exists to you outside of the song. But I'll send you that song. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and we want to remind callers that here listening to Peacealogy State right here on the big station, Q95 radio here in Dominica, and otherwise on overseas. We want to remind you that if you want to call in, it's 449-3095, 449-3096, 449-3097. You could use the cell line of 616-4257, or overseas line is 305-432-9624. And anytime you call with good reason, we will take a call from you. I asked if anybody knows Pastor Benjamin is somewhere here. I could text him or so, ask him to call us to the station. As a matter of fact, Lambi, let's queue up another Rasmo song, and I'm going to text you a number, Lambi, for Pastor Benjamin, so that you can call him from the studio to see if you can bring him in live, because I know that we would like to hear from him. I know he has had a good amount of difficulty reaching us here, not without he's trying. He's a man of great patience, but anything can kind of wear you out when you feel these elements of trial and error. So let's get another surprise song from Rasmo. We're going to take a little break, and then we will try to see if we can get Pastor Joseph Benjamin to join us here on our station, Peacealogy State, on the first of the first month, 26th day of the year 2026. Let's get another song from Rasmo. Thanks in advance.
When I say quick, then you say what? Quick. Quick. When you team, what's team, what's team, what's Powerball, c'est bon power. Powerball, c'est bon power. Powerball, c'est bon power. Powerball, c'est bon power. Aïe, un chien, mais qui dans blanc. L'eau passe à jamais. Plié, béquissant, on s'en pas, jamais essayé. Les héritiers ont enfants, non pas jamais essayé. Les héritiers ont enfants. Powerball, c'est bon, Powerball, c'est bon, Powerball, c'est bon, Powerball, c'est bon, Powerball. Piti, oiseau café niche, aïe, chaudy chou, ish, café ish, oui, enfant café enfant, c'est faut nous parler de ça. Enfant café enfant, c'est faut nous parler de ça. Powerball, c'est mon power. Powerball, c'est mon power. Powerball, c'est bon power. Powerball, c'est bon power. IPTH, Papa go bois, c'est yon parole. Tout le monde connaît ça. C'est ça qui fait. Nous pas qu'à faire l'espoir. C'est ça qui fait. Nous pas qu'à faire la foi. Powerball, c'est bon power. Powerball, c'est bon power. Powerball, c'est bon power. Powerball, c'est bon power. When I say quick, then you say quoi? Quick. But this is Timothy, what's that? Tim. When I say quick, then you say what? Quick. When this is Timothy, what's that? Tim. What's that? Akakta kibebai kamute, akakta kibebai kamute, akakta kibebai kamute, akakta kibebai kamute. Pourquoi il pas kamute? Elle est finie, dis-moi. Upload Nakamuche, Niti, Finini tropica, finini tropica, finini tropica, finini tropica. Power, c'est bon, power.
Yes, yes, yes. Well, I believe I think we have made contact with Pastor Joseph Benjamin. I think he's on the line. Rambi, is that right? And Pastor Benjamin, if that's you, thank you so much for taking our call from the studio. Good night. Thank you. Sorry we had these technical difficulties on the internet, but thank you for joining us by telephone.
Yes, good evening, my brother, and good evening to the listeners. It's a blessing for me to be here tonight. I'm so sorry I was unable to get on earlier. I tried my best to get there, unfortunately, but I'm glad that I'm here tonight.
Well, with God's will, we'll find a way. We'll find a way. So, Pastor Benjamin, what we are discussing tonight is the question of, is it worth it to do prison ministry? Is it worth it to do prison ministry? Yes or no, and why?
Yes.
What's your answer to that?
I guess it depends on what angle you're looking at. Why? There are people who in life go through certain challenges. And sometimes we are not sympathetic in understanding the kind of challenges that certain people go through. Most people make decisions in life or they find themselves on the wrong side of the fence because of certain background, certain experiences, certain challenges they've had in life. And when these individuals get on the wrong side of the law and end up in prison, they would need to know that somebody cares for them. In spite of the fact that they have gone through certain challenges and certain ordeals, that it's not the end of life. And so we have to somehow see how we can bring hope to them. As a matter of fact, my approach to visiting people in the prison is the understanding that even Jesus himself said that when he came to set the prisoners free. Not only that, but he says if we touch the lives of those persons in the prison, we are doing him a service. So we are visiting him as well as doing so. So pretty much, Jesus is in the prison. So we have to find him and see how we can really, have interaction and fellowship with him through the person that he manifests himself in the prison.
Well, thanks, Pastor Benjamin, for that explanation. And we just jumped right into it, and we assumed we act like you were there, that you introduced yourself. Everybody knows who you are. Lambi, shake your head up or down, yes or no. Do you know who Pastor Benjamin is, Lambi? Do you know that? Lambi, so if Lambi doesn't know, maybe our listeners do not know as well. Can you please introduce yourself to the world? Introduce yourself to our listeners, please, Pastor Benjamin.
Okay, so my name is Joseph Benjamin. I am originally from the beautiful island of Dominica, of course, from Portsmouth, to be exact, and Villa Village. I migrated from Dominica in the late 70s. I spent some time in Antigua, Montserrat. That's my pastoral ministry in Montserrat. And that's in 1988, thereabout. I migrated, I came back to Dominica in 1994. And the Lord, making a long story short, the Lord had given me certain directions to start a ministry. And we have since established reconciliation and deliverance ministry for the past 27 years. And I am currently the senior pastor at that local fellowship, which is situated adjacent to the National Bank of Dominica, that's in Portsmouth, of course. And we have been established for the past 27 years. our goal, our mission to really touch the heart of the less fortunate in our community to ensure that the gospel of the kingdom of God is advanced in every nation, every community. That's our vision. In a nutshell.
So part of why you are on the show tonight, obviously, is because I invited you. Part of why I invited you is that someone introduced me to you, because unless we just introduced you to some people who don't know you, I'm sure there are probably a lot of listeners who know you, but some who do not. And the person who introduced me to you is actually online here with us, Ninka Luis. And she had some contributions to give to the question of what is it important to have prison ministry? So she gave her insights on some of those things. And we actually had a pastor, Donald Douglas from Chicago, who had to leave at the top of the hour. So he left, at 9 o'clock your time, 7 o'clock Chicago time. And I don't necessarily want to repeat his answer to you. I may ask you later on what's your take on what he said. But I wanted to ask you again to tell me a little bit about the history of how much, or the experience of what type of prison ministry you've done. Have you actually been in the jail? Have you been inside, or you mostly work with people who are outside after they're incarcerated? Let's start there.
Okay, so that was before Hurricane Maria. I think at the time Alan Chaka was the superintendent of the prison, the state prison here in Dominica. There was a gentleman that we met. I would not use his name. I would not call his name. But there was a gentleman who have been pretty much on the street, and we were doing some evangelism service, outreach, evangelism ministry of the street. And one of the small local fellowship met with this young man, and this young man had been in and out of jail. He had been in and out of the prison for some time, and so the young lady realized that he was a person full of potential, and that she would like so much for me to, make contact with that young man. And he was prisoner for maybe 14 years in prison. So my wife and I, we have decided to go visit him, make connection with him, and we have been with him. I think he probably has roughly about 3 or so more years remaining from the time that he was serving. And religiously, my wife and I, we actually took some time. We went across to Mr. Chaka and asked him if he can give us the permission to come to this prison to have some counseling session with the English. Especially, we really selected those from the north area, and the reason for so is not that we're not concerned about the inmates, but we want to ensure that the person that comes from the prison, that we can have a follow-up session, so as to see how we can connect with them and see how they're doing, how we can accommodate them. So we have been pretty much doing that for 4 years. We have reached as far as there was another young man that we were able to take to Turning Point, and that is in St. Lucia. Our fellowship, our ministry, paid for his time at Turning Point. And also, while he was in Turning Point, that is a rehab center institution, we were taking care of his family here, ensuring that his family is okay, until he was able to come off the street. And we are so grateful to God for the fact that we have not been as active currently since Maria. We have had a few setbacks, so we have not been as active, but we do go to the prison time and again. But we're looking forward, by the grace of God, to continue our weekly session at the prison.
Okay, so it's yeah. Go ahead. Well, thank you for explaining that, and it sounds that that's kind of the initial in way that you had with this with that experience. Can you tell us now? I know that as you said, there's need to protect confidentiality and know people's name, but we have a case here with us that is a situation, well, not case or situation, a person, a human being, who is here with us, but a scenario where there's someone that you actually know, a Ninka who's on the line here with us, and we are speaking quite openly about her life, but quite openly. So I wanted you to either you or her can tell me the story. You guys, Ninka, you can tell him which one of you can give us a sense of how did you guys get connected, because there might be other people like Ninka that can be connected to your church. He has spoken very highly about the type of work you do, who your organization is, and sometimes we hear those things aside, but to have the person who received the service and the person who gave the service to be there in conversation, I think it'll be good for our listeners to get a sense of how you get connected, why are you helping her? How did that situation come out? So I think you want to be the one to tell us. Maybe if you do that, that would be easier. So that way it doesn't seem like he's talking your business. You can talk your own business. How did you come across Pastor Benjamin and the services?
The thing is, I had a house fire. Somebody else was burning, and my house caught fire. Right? I lost all my things. I lost everything. And imagine, I was sleeping on an old bed for how long? A broken bed. My waist hurting me for how long? My house is not enough in it. I buy how much things I set up my house. Nice. That is when my house burned all my money. Good. Now the government was renting somewhere for me. I go jail. But while the government was renting they was renting there for me for a whole year and plus. They never give the person $1 for the house. When I go jail, they put me outside. When I go jail, they put me outside the house because the government wasn't paying me out, and government not put me there. They say they will help me. They'll give me a house. When my house burn, they tell me they give me a house. I see house bill. I don't hear my name calling on list and everything there. So now my grandmother give me a little place to stay, but now it's my cousin place. You check, I couldn't stay there for long. So me and my brother get a little problem. I had to live there, and I was on the road, sleeping in bus stop and sleeping up and down, house to house, and going all about looking for place to stay. And it's so I get in contact with the pastor, and the pastor started helping me. He get a place for me to stay. He buy shopping for me. He get a job for me, and things started working for me. While I was on the road like a paro, I was still in paro already. You check? I was still in paro already, and I know where to stay. I was sleeping on bus stop, rain wetting me. I want nowhere to shit. I want nowhere to bathe. Yeah. Pastor that helped me and take me out on the streets,
So explain that first encounter to me. Where did he meet you, and how did he approach you, and how did he respond?
Well, when he called me. Well, actually, somebody gave me his number, my mother. And we get in contact, and it's so another pastor. It's for another pastor, I get in contact with that pastor.
So another pastor linked you up to him.
I set all them together, and they working together to help people.
So what you think about the fact that there are people who are out there looking for people like you, who were in the kind of situation that you were in, that you just explained to us clearly, that there are people out there looking for people like you to help you? What do you think about that?
I think them people there, they deserve a trophy, they deserve a reward, they deserve something. You check? For their good work. Because sometimes we see people helping people. We don't know what they're going through to help you. They might need help too, and they're helping you. You check? Also, pastor right down. Pastor helping me, and pastor right down, pastor working. Also, pastor need help. to get his parts to start back rolling again. I don't mean like he don't have money, but maybe he don't have ways to get the parts and them things there. And his help, he need his help.
Yeah, your point is that it's not like he has everything perfectly done and he has a bunch of excess and a lot of extra time.
Mhm.
He is going through his own struggles as well, while he's helping while he's going through his own struggles. That's what I'm understanding you're saying.
That I trying to say.
Mhm. Pastor Benjamin, what are your thoughts about what Ninka is sharing with us?
Yes. There is a pastor friend of mine by the name of Matthew.
Pastor, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know if you are. I don't know if it is the internet, or I don't know if you are speaking on speakerphone or not. But if you are on speakerphone and you could not have it, and you could speak closer to the phone, that may be helpful. Unless it's just a matter of the internet. But if you could do that, make sure you're speaking directly into the phone. That'd be very helpful to prevent us from going in and out a little bit. Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a Bluetooth.
Oh.
So I am not too sure if that is.
Yeah, that would be good if you get off the Bluetooth. I mean, I don't know if you must have it and it's in your ears. Remove it and speak directly into the phone, because we're getting a second generation type of sound that if you do not have the Bluetooth when you're speaking it, unless it's absolutely necessary, that will give us a lot better quality in the broadcast, because I can hear that second generation space in the Bluetooth. Is that all right?
Okay, no problem.
Yes. That will
great. Can you hear me better?
Awesome. That's much better. Thank you.
Okay, great. Wonderful.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there's a brother, Matthew Ogis, another colleague, pastor.
Mm-hmm.
He called me and he told me that he has this friend of his, who's Mika's mother. They actually went to school together for some time, and she has a daughter who have had some challenges. And she moved down to Portsmouth. She's in the Portsmouth area, and you would like, to see how she can be, how she can. She don't have a place to sleep that particular evening. She doesn't know where she's going to sleep, because she was probably renting somewhere with some friend, by some individual she knew, who eventually took advantage of her, actually stole her money based on what she mentioned to me. And so, I mean, I was not even in the country. I was pretty much in the British Virgin Islands, and I was doing a crusade. I had a crusade within in the prison system down there. And by God's special grace, when I got the information that this young lady was here so challenged, my heart was so moved. So I called back to Dominica, to a young lady, Beverly George, who actually works very closely in, I'm a part and parcel of the ministry that I'm leading. And I tell her, look, get in touch with this young lady and get a place for her to stay, and take care of whatever she needs. Whatever she needs, make sure she's properly taken care of. When I get down, then I will, take care of what I need to take care of, my responsibility. And so that's pretty much how we connect. When I came back, when I was done with my meetings, my crusade, I came down to Dominica, and I just came right across and get in touch with her. Apparently, the gentleman, we have had to move from his place, so I had to get another place for her so she can be a little bit more permanent, because the guy was only renting on short-term basis. So I met with Ninka then, and we had a talk, and she was very open, she was very polite, very respectful. And so, I mean, she's a young lady. I see that has a lot of potential. She's a very pleasant person. And so, I mean, my heart was just moved. I mean, I have daughters. I cannot just imagine that any of my daughters having to be sleeping on the street, having to be sleeping on the bus stop. I cannot fathom that, So, I mean, my heart was so moved, and so I just get in contact with her. I didn't know her nor her mom, but, based on the pastor making that request and understanding the need, I jumped right in along with my wife, and I used every resource that I had to take care of what I need to take care of to ensure that she's comfortable. That's pretty much how we connected.
Pastor, thank you so much. We really are glad that we have this space that we can allow this story to be told. Because as we talk about building a more peaceful Dominica, as we talk about becoming people who are more loving and beloved people, as we talk about being good Christians or Muslims or atheists or whatever, we need to have those kinds of stories that can grab our hearts and grab our minds, and to let us know that there are different type of people out there with resources if need, with lack of resources with need, with good hearts to help, and those types of things. I know that that's not what you're here for, but I know, as Ninka said, nobody's life is perfect, and nobody has perfect need, and we all are going through our own struggles. I remember when I was at your church, you were there, if you don't mind me saying this, because at your church, different people take different turns to clean the church, and it was your turn, and you were there with your little young son, and you were there doing your duty to clean. You are doing construction. You have your own family, you have your own circumstances, even if you're running the church. So we all need, even those with a lot of resources, need resources. So if there's somebody with a deeper pocket and a good heart, or now or later, who would like to reach out to you to provide financial and the resources to help you with this great work, would you please mind sharing some information that people can use to contact you? Is that okay?
No problem. No problem. And Peter, I must say to you, man, there are people out there that we know that they're really crying, in the sense that really need somebody to touch them very deeply. And Christianity, as far as I'm concerned, it is really being a servant. It's to serve people. It's a community, supposed to be church life, supposed to be a community-based program to reach out to the individuals that need to know and understand how much God loves them. And we express love not by necessarily saying that I love you, but basically by demonstrating in a very practical way the love of God. And so that's why my heart is moved to do that. I want people to see in what I do, to see Christ in what I do.
Yes.
All right.
Is there a number you can share with us, or you rather not do that in terms of anyone who wants to reach out to you to provide any help or to know how they can help? It's not always money, because they might be able to help with kind. They may know somebody who has a home, because there might be people who are overseas who have a home that they can entrust someone like you to be able to have people like Ninka to be able to be there, and so on. Do you have a number that someone can reach you, or you rather not do that?
Okay, sure. I can do that. That's not a problem at all. That's not a problem. So the name of our ministry is Reconciliation and Deliverance. Holiness Tabernacle. That's the name of the ministry. And we're located in Glenville, Portsmouth. Our account is 315, that's the National Bank.
No, don't. I don't know if you can give just your phone number so they can talk.
My phone number.
Yes, because I don't think I want them to. Yeah. Uh-huh.
No problem. Yeah, my phone number is 767.
Yes.
345.
345.
245. 1788.
Okay, that is 767-245-1788.
That's right.
Yes, and the name again of his organization is the Reconciliation and Deliverance Holiness Tabernacle, better known, sometimes known as R&D Ministries, right?
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yes. So so sponsors, you can reach him or you can reach me. You guys, my number is also a public business number. 716-603-0992 is a number that someone can reach me on WhatsApp. 716-603-0992, because it's very important that we build a critical mass of support for people like that. And the Commonwealth of Dominica Police Force has a community policing unit, I participated recently last year in some activities in Silver Lake, and I was impressed with the work of Corporal Moses, Sergeant Andrews, SP again, and the four head top brass of the Dominican Police Force were also there, and there was Louis Joseph and some others. There were three dynamic women who were helping along with the name of the men that I called. And one of the things that the community policing unit is trying to do, after, you guys, some of you may have heard Honorable Reverend Blackmore with me on this show and also on Kyrie FM of our show, Peaceful Nature Isle. And part of the idea is to be able to have churches, businesses, and so on engage as part of the community policing initiative, because part of what the people in Silver Lake said is that they once had opportunities to have pastors come to their community and to share the word with them. There was a song that that Lady S sang that says that even the church is absent from some of those communities. And Esther Bello and her daughter Esther on the same show with me a few times said that please do not be afraid of us. Do not look at us just like the way that the news seem to castigate our community. And it sings that even people, whether they're not in the community of Silver Lake, they might be wherever they are, and they want people to know them for who they are. And from my understanding and my interaction with the community policing unit is that they would like opportunities to collaborate with people like yourself to see how what kind of support they can give and how they can help to connect the dots between the people who are willing to help and the people who actually need the help, right? To make that connection. Is that something you would be interested in? Because I know they have interest in Portsmouth. Are you open to collaborating with people such as those in the community policing unit and so on, Pastor Benjamin?
I don't have any problem with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't have any problem with that. I understand that the vision for really touching the lives of the inmates, it requires a lot of support, and it requires a lot of connections. I mean, you need people on every facet of life to address different areas of the lives of these individuals, because I am also connected with persons who have experience in psychology, who will be able to help give special counseling and stuff. So whatever support that I can get to help individuals that have been challenged or have had challenging situations that I'm making, and I'm looking forward to recover. We're looking forward, by the grace of God, to really work along with whoever that is making themselves available to assist us in ensuring that these individuals experience or have a better life.
Are you only servicing people in the north, in the Portsmouth Grand Vineyard area, or are you willing to, or are you involved elsewhere?
Well, currently, I mean, in going to the prison, I'll be able to connect with individuals through Dominica, but I would prefer to ensure that I have a hand on a follow-up system until we probably might be able to have other individuals outside of Portsmouth to assist us with that particular program. I would prefer to focus primarily on the persons from the north.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense. So you can have ready access to them and not spread yourself too thin.
Right.
Yes, well, so tell us a bit about the past, the now, the future, the vision you have. How did this vision come about? And if you had it your way and got all the support that you can provide, and all of the support does not necessarily mean money, it could mean access to land, access to resources, access to human capital, to people. What is the vision in terms of what you see the need to be, and what type of effort you would like to lead if you got the resources and the support that you see yourself as needed?
Good question. Very good question.
Thank you.
I would like so much. This is my vision. What we have documented for a few years now. We would like to address an issue that we see have been happening consistently. That people are leaving the prison system and they keep on returning back to the prison because the support outside of the prison is not there. So even if an individual leaves the prison or serve their time, when they get outside of the prison, they've been stereotyped. And so to get them synchronized back into the system, to be living ordinary in their own community, most of them it's a big challenge because people don't accept them, people don't trust them, people stereotype them. So what we have in our vision is to ensure that we can get a portion of the land where we will be able to do like short-term crops and livestock, rabbits, goats, sheep, etc. We would have those individuals to be able to work within that environment. We'll be also helping them to recover mentally, emotionally, so we'll be able to give them the kind of counseling that they would need to help them to recuperate from some of the challenges or the trauma or the mishaps, misfortune, setback, broken spirit that they may have had experience, while being incarcerated. And so we'll be able to help them to get some funds, showcase their talents and their giftings, because a lot of those individuals are very skilled. And, sometimes they learn so many skills, even within the prison system, we can help to showcase that so they can, and help to market whatever it is that they are able to make, so as to allow them to get funds in their pocket, so they will be able to develop themselves and give them a certain time frame in which they can be recuperated back into society. So that's pretty much in a nutshell.
It sounds like a good vision. What type of support are you getting, or what type of blockage or what type of hurdles are you getting in that to implement that vision?
Well, currently, as I said, since Maria, a lot of things have changed. Now, I remembered I was given a promise for a portion of property land, and that did not materialize. So I think the first and foremost would have to be that we get a portion of land and we can get to develop our agricultural system on that particular property, so we'll be able to help to even do like what we call halfway housing on that same property as well, to help individuals to, one, have a home, and two, have a work environment to help them to recover. So we really need those sort of resources.
Yes, well, hopefully in your prayers, the Lord can deliver the opportunity for you to have the land access to be able to do this work and the other resources to make this vision continue to grow. And you just continue to do the great work and continue to align yourself with people who are helpful. Now, I said that I didn't want to preempt you and say too much about what Pastor Douglas said when he was with us. Pastor Douglas from the City Point Community Church in Brunsville in the south side of Chicago. He was there with us for an hour. What he basically said, and I asked him, is there value in doing ministry, prison ministry? And he said yes. And I said, why? And he said that basically when people, from his experience of working in the prisons in Chicago and the jail in the prison and jail in Chicago, that when inmates or people who are incarcerated are spending that time, they lose somewhat of a sense of value. in themselves. They lack value because of their circumstances, because of the past, and whether they're in prison because they got caught for what they really did, or whether they're in prison for something that they were accused of and did not do. And Ninka added that some of them are in prison because they're on remand waiting for their sentence, and some of them are in prison because they are actually, they have been adjudicated, they have been sentenced, and they're serving the sentence. He said that this lack of value is a common denominator among the inmates, and part of the charge of Christians and all good people are to visit the list of these and to serve. The biblical scriptures mandate or recommend that we do that. But he said that one of the things that prison ministry can do is to help bring value to these people. And he said that a very important avenue to getting value is to be able to receive or to feel forgiveness. How does that resonate to you? Does that make sense to you or not?
That makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of, and I think I mentioned earlier that we want to ensure that we have counseling sessions for those individuals, which is very, very helpful in taking them back into looking back into themselves, and really not just receiving forgiveness, but also forgiving themselves. Allow them to see who they are in the sight of God, irrespective to their own challenges and misfortunes. Because it doesn't matter what you may have committed, what you have done in life. Until you have come to that place of forgiving yourself, then going forward for you is going to be a challenge. Because you're going to keep looking back and keep condemning yourself, which will make it very difficult for you to move on. So getting you to even forgive yourself, allow you to even put perspective on who you are as an individual, which I find is very, 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 very necessary and important.
Yes, that is. I'm glad you added that piece, because sometimes when we talk about forgiveness, we forget that forgiveness is their self-forgiveness as well. And sometimes people cannot forgive others because they have not even thought about the possibility of they needing forgiveness from themselves. Because if others are stigmatizing you, you are also stigmatizing yourself consciously or subconsciously. And perhaps even after others have forgiven you, you may still be incarcerated inside because you have not forgiven yourself, because you may not have come to terms with who you are, whose you are, whom's you are. And to think about the fact that you were not created to be in the state where you are. And the very beginning of the new future is the realization of that reality and the forgiveness of yourself.
Most definitely.
And it's very seldom that someone can do that by themselves, because if they could do that alone, most likely they would not be where they are. Pastor Benjamin, can you imagine? Time flies when you're having fun. Lambi, can you imagine we have less than 10 minutes, a few minutes? We almost have just a few more minutes to wrap up. I really want to thank the sponsors for our Kudme, Petit Paradis, Anthony Saint Jean. We spoke about Strictly Itals, and Christopher John Baptiste, and others who helped us to be able to do the Kudme that we did and allow us to continue to be here, even if they are not providing any sponsorship funds for the show. That is not the point. They are providing sponsorship points by giving good services to the community and helping us to fulfill the mission of reducing suffering and improving quality of life, and helping us to spread the news and the efforts of Peacealogy that I define as the science and practice of low stress and high joy. Pastor Benjamin, I am so excited to have met you. I am so glad that you're helping, and I will be unapologetic to say it because Ninka is my second cousin. Her father and I are children of brother and sister. But beyond that, I guess because we are family, she trusts me that she can talk to me openly. She trusts me that she can say things, and she says it to me in a way that I believe and I understand. She knows that I'm a scientist, I'm a clinician, I'm a business scientist, a social scientist. So she knows that when she speaks with me, there's certain things, of course, I'll keep in confidence, but she knows that I will appreciate being able to have her story serve to help others and to be able to connect with someone like you. And it is because she almost insisted politely that in fact, what she told me is how she would regret or how sad she would be if I didn't meet you. And I was leaving the following day, and I decided that I could not travel without meeting you. So I put a lot of things aside to drive from Trafalgar to Portsmouth and to be able to spend the hours so that I spend with you on the ground. So I just want you to know that when you do this type of work, there are people that you provide the work to that have great appreciation for you to continue, even if you might be working on fumes, because we hardly have enough resources to do the type of work we need to do. But God is going to continue to help you along the path. And I hope that some people, some of our sponsors or some people of interest who listen to you will continue to keep their hearts open to help in that effort. So I'm going to give you the opportunity to, in a minute or so, to give any final words. This is not going to be the last time, sir, that we come together. I'd ask you to join me next Monday, but you have a prior engagement, but to join me at Kyrie FM, because I have a show there on Monday. But you were not able to join me, but you were able to join us here at the big station at Q95. So what are your parting words you have to say to our listeners, even if that's not the last time they get a chance, hopefully, God's grace, to speak with you?
Yes, so let me first of all again say thank you for inviting me to your program. Also want to say to Ninka, thank you for introducing me to Dr. Peter. It's been also a pleasure of mine to have met with you, and I thank God the day that He have connected us. I want to say to the listeners, I'm so grateful that you have taken the time out to listen to us. I pray and trust that your passion and your endeavor to help and to assist the people in our own community that are having different challenges, that God will grant you the grace and move your heart to be able to touch in a very deep way, and may God bless you as you do that. Jesus said, all the sheep that I have, which is not of this fold, them also will I bring unto me. So sometimes we think the people that are on the street looking good, have everything going for them, are the real people of our community, but there are other people within our communities that are going through a lot of challenges and wish they could just get one individual to just give them that second chance, just give them that second chance, somebody that would just believe in them and give them the opportunity to recover from wherever they're at, So, thanks again, Peter, for this opportunity, and God bless you. And I pray that God will continue to give you wisdom, direction as you keep doing what you're doing. Blessings on you.
Well, thank you very much. It appeared that Ninka, are you still with us, or are you gone, Ninka? I don't see you on the screen. She says that she's there, but I don't. Ninka, are you there? Can you say some final words as we leave?
I don't know if you can hear me.
Oh, I didn't know. I can hear you now. Go ahead. What are your thoughts? Give us some quick thoughts of what your thoughts from what the pastor said, and what do you want to tell the listeners before you leave?
Oh, but I want to thank Pastor so much, and Pastor and the rest of the team and his wife. I want to thank them so much, because they don't know how much they helped me. They know they helped me, but they don't know how much they helped me. You check me? It wasn't easy, because it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy, trust me. I was on the road to being a paro. Check? I was looking for jobs, I wasn't getting jobs. I was looking for help, I wasn't getting help. Understand? And Pastor come to my rescue. He come to my rescue. They helped me, they saved me, take me out on the streets. Jack, I was suffering. Yeah, remember my mother not Dominica, me alone not there, for the time. Brothers on their scene, everybody on their scene. It's me alone, not Dominica by myself. Check.
Mm.
Me alone not doing my thing. All my tools burn in the fire. Up to now, I'm not getting money to buy back my tools and them. You check? I can't even go on little jobs for the time. All my tools burn. I had all my tools burn. Drills, everything.
Yeah, well, Ninka, I'm going to ask you again, and we'll talk some more about it on the show. I go back to Kyrie FM on the 5th
But
of
of course, I
February.
want to thank you too, cause you helped me plenty already, Jack. And to thank you.
Well, much
Jack?
love, man. I have nothing but love for you, sis. Nothing but love for
Yeah,
you.
man. Yeah,
Right.
man, cause already.
So hopefully you can join me next time, but now we have to go. It's 8 o'clock, and good night. Lambi,
All right.
it's all yours. All right, good night. Thanks again, Pastor. Thanks again, Ninka, for joining
Yes,
us.
Pastor. Thank you.
God bless. Good night. Yeah, good night. Good night.
All right.
God bless.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, Lambi, thank you. Good night. Take us out. And we had a great
Anywhere,